Hello there! GM Lurch Lurchington here with another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. With me as usual are our players and their characters. We've got the Bendu as Narset Jinn.
Yeah.
Dan as Captain Worm of Ithor.
Hey everyone.
David as Jedi Master Zavix Silverstar.
Hey.
And our host Kyle as Zeke.
Hello there.
Gentlemen, if you're ready to see if the Force is with us, let's roll Destiny and begin. 2 lights from the War Ram.
Oh yeah!
2 more from Zavax. This is the opposite of last night where everyone rolled dark side. No, Zeke coming in for me with the dark side. What you got, Narset? Hey, and another dark side, finally. Thank you, Miss Jinn, coming in clear from Dathomir with the dark side. We are returning to Narset Jinn. Narset, you spent 2 days traveling across the island to the windward side, where a much smaller Sauvax Village sets on Slide 43. You and Quintera traveled down the steep slope into the village and then entered into the longhouse, where you used the Force to brighten up the central fire, in just a offhand display of your power.
That was awesome.
And the tall, thin Sauvax, who was proceeding over the small tribe here in the longhouse, rumbled out a word, a single word, and cracked and garbled basic, and was able to identify you before we came away. We return now to you here in the longhouse, in front of the tall crab.
Narset, since her and Quintero were walking out of the tent before Narset turned around and sort of pointed her pinky at the fire to make it warmer. So as the crab addresses her, she turns full around to fully acknowledge the word that was said, and then half-handedly looks at Quintera for some sort of gesture of encouragement.
She nods at you to go and continue.
This so Narset then looks
contact,
back.
Obviously.
Narset looks back over to the skinny crab, and then
he comes across the longhouse to the entrance where you were going to exit.
I thought he was already next to her.
Well, you said you were exiting, so I put you down on the other end. He comes down towards the exit and looms over you. He rumbles and clacks at you in Sauvax, and Quintera translates, not directly, but summarizes. She says,
apparently the Jedi came here before his lifetime. They dealt with the shaman at the time. This was before the factory came. Apparently they blame you for the factory and the city on the other side of the island, is the gist that I'm getting at. You should maybe speak to the shaman. He's on the other side of the village. They're not necessarily happy that you're here.
Narset looks away from Quintera and looks back at the rest of the Sauvax in the longhouse, and as respectfully as she can, fully bows her head, breaking eye contact, and just bowing to everyone as she slowly tries to exit the tent.
they don't stop you.
Quintera has the... Well, yeah, I know, but, it's a sign of respect versus,
Sure.
being more...
Sure.
Especially given the new info that, oh, fuck, why do they blame the Jedi for the city? This is pretty shitty. Better speak to the shaman. So if Quintera has an idea of where the shaman is, then should head that direction. Unless the shaman's in there.
He was not. This tall, skinny Sauvax is apparently what passes for a chief around here. To remind you, because it's been a minute since, we were here and introduced, unlike the flourishing Sauvax Village in Fishtown, where Crab Drogo,
Yeah,
the mighty Sauvax king, and like his people are doing pretty well. They're semi-integrated with the town. Like they still use a lot of their traditional ways, but they've also augmented it with what they've been able to get from like the technological society, and they're doing pretty well with it. But obviously, like they're not on the same social status as everybody else, and like that's not going well. The guys back here, like, you don't see a lot of the strong, hardened warriors with the darker colored shells that you saw. Even the chief was like still the pale like color that you saw. Like the Salvax were like warming themselves in like molten, like heaters, in the longhouse over in Crabtown to like strengthen their shells, and they're not doing that here. Like their fires were dim, and the village is not doing well here. Just to like remind you of that. You and Kantera head out. There are still two like local guards standing outside of the longhouse, and your two Sherpas are there as well. Kantera says,
I think the shaman is on the other end of the village.
She says,
But, I mean, we can obviously discuss this before you go in there and, talk. I'll keep translating.
if you need
I was
to.
gonna say, I still need the translator. I want, like, at some point she'll be able to hopefully do her studies and soil samples, whatever the fuck she wants to do.
She's pretty interested in this, you know what I mean? This is like still like from the sociological side of these are
Right,
living
from her
people. It's
This is anthropology
exactly
for her.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's xenoanthropology versus xenoarchaeology, and that's still extremely interesting. And she's been on this planet for a while, and this is a part of it she hasn't been to yet. So, whatever kind of quest you're going to go on, if she can tag along and like take notes, like that's cool. She's going to do that. You know what I mean?
Cool.
And if she catches a
And
bug, she might
would-
tell you too about plot hooks. Obviously, if she goes, "Hey, over here," blah blah blah.
Right. Then Kantera should do the speaking and the introducing when we head over to the shaman tent.
She says that she can do that. How should she introduce you?
So Narset looks over to Kantera and kind of mulls over what the previous Salvax were saying about how they, for some reason, blame the Jedi for why the city and the factory is here. So if Kantera goes in there and sort of just kind of introduces both of us as words of Gandalf, purely academic. We're here purely for academic reasons, but we would like to know, one, why do they blame the Jedi for the collapse of the plant, or the collapse of the area, at least.
Sure, but does
Yeah,
she introduce
pretty
you as a
much,
Jedi
yeah,
or not? You know what I mean?
Introduce
Like-
us as like people who are here to help, who are. Well, no, we should be upfront. We should be honest.
Right,
Like if
that's what
Kantera is
she's
like, I'm
that's what she's
Kantera.
asking, right?
Yeah, so Narset
Are you a
says,
Jedi
like,
or not when
if
she
you
introduces
introduce yourself as like, hey, I'm Kantera from like the other village, or if she wants to say like I'm Kantera of
Sounds
wherever
like
she.
I mean,
From-
if they don't like
and
the
then be
Jedi
like,
and then
this
find
is-
out you lied about it, that might become a problem,
Why I say we should be honest. That's why I'm saying Kantera should introduce herself as
She
I'm
says, "I'm a
Kantera.
Xeno."
and-
says-
I'm a xenosociologist from the University of Kentrala, if anyone asks.
say that.
Or of Shindrala.
Say that.
But
And
who
then
are
this
you?
is- and then this is Narset Jinn, a Jedi from Dathomir, and
She says,
Right, and here in this village, that might be the more important introduction, and that's why I wanted to know how to introduce you.
Jedi last, person Kantera first.
"Okay,
Sandwich.
You're gonna be like, by the way, that's a Jedi. Anyway,
It's an-
what's up with you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
she goes,
Exactly.
absolutely."
It's a soft introduction. Like, hi, I'm Kantera of blah blah blah. This is my friend. of blah blah blah. And then we're purely here for academic reasons. First of which, why does your chieftain blame the Jedi for fucking things up? Two, how can we unfuck? How can we unfuck things up?
She says,
Um,
all right, go ahead and make a social check to see if she's going to go along with your plan. Or not. Because Kintera's fairly willful, and she's not necessarily going to perform these introductions the way you just asked her to.
We
when
play
push
that
comes
as
to
coordination.
shove. No, we
Play
can't
it
play
as
that as coordination. No, it's going to have to be charm, deception, coercion, negotiation, or leadership.
It's not
These
coercion.
are our
I'm not yelling.
social skills.
What about?
It's
What
not
do you have in
coercion,
leadership? Do you have
okay.
anything good for leadership?
She hasn't,
it's all too
she
green.
hasn't established herself
too-
as dominant of Kintera at this point.
Yeah.
You know,
Should
she's
either
not
get-
her leader.
Either
And with
get some
coercion.
boost or something though for being
Coercion?
good relation.
Zalamus. We're just gonna go. All of them are just two green.
So you're not great at any kind of talk. That's
Yeah.
why you have Zavix,
We'll just
right?
we'll
So
just
you don't
say
have to
we'll
talk
just
to
say we're
people?
making an overall social check.
Okay,
Overall
so you're
social
making
check of just green.
Two
and
green and a blue.
Leadership,
All right.
coordination, deception, all that kind of stuff.
2 green and a blue. All the things
so
that you're not good at
exclamation-
that Zavix is good at. Yes. Talking to people.
And then
Convincing
Narset
them
just
they should do
hits
things.
Kintera with a sentence that is like coercive and charming and like all of these things.
Exactly. So you said GG.
I just
blue,
finished
blue.
watching She-Ra. I know how this works.
Failure with an advantage.
All right. Kintera smirks at you and she goes.
I'll make sure that you look good.
She
Right, like I'm not gonna say
spruces
that
up the
shit.
collar of your huge, fluffy ermine coat that you got from Lando Calrissian. So you have 2 Sauvax Sherpa who've traveled here with you. You didn't introduce yourself as a Jedi in Crabtown, and you set out with these 2 guys. One of here whom appears to have, know the place here, and one guy who appears to have been local to the other, village, to the modern village. And they both know you're Jedi because they saw you use the Force and a lightsaber on the way over here. You might want to talk to them before you go talk to the shaman as well. You know what I mean?
Get the lay of the
So,
land.
just a thought as you head through the village on your way over. Ahead of you, you can see that there is
Yeah, but they
an
hate-
icy...
They
Well,
don't like
you don't
me.
know that. You know that Crab Drogo has beef with this village, but these are the 2 guys who volunteered to come to the top of the volcano and ended up coming to this village with you. And one of them strolled in like he knew the place and walked right into the longhouse, remember? He's the guy who was wearing the hide cloak and using the low-tech weapon, whereas the guy
Yeah.
wearing the poncho with the high-tech rifle sort of rode
Pissed
on
off.
the crab
We
droid
told
the
him to
whole
stay
time.
by the walker.
Right, he said no, and he headed right into town, But they're both here now, and you can talk to either of them on your way over. The village is smaller than Crabtown, and you see the shaman is there. Set into the wall that you traveled down using the steps you made, you see there's a huge cave mouth set there, and that the inlet roars into that cave, in and out, and that on the banks of both sides of this inlet are smaller Ravnak. They are obviously only adolescents because they're only the size of a speeder bike, as opposed to being the size of a transport ship. But they're still giant, walrus hippos that are lounging on the sides of this icy river that cuts through the middle of this village and keeps you from getting to the shaman's hut ahead. But you're not there yet, and you have time to talk to either of these Sauvax as you head that way, so you can get their perspective on you being a Jedi and, the interplay between the 2 villages. You did, ask about them on the way over, and Kintera is a translator. And now's the time that getting that information might be pertinent. You know what I mean?
And they're doing all right, right? They're fully healed from the fight on the way over.
Yeah. They healed remarkably fast overnight, actually. By the next day, one guy lost a claw, and neither of these crabs are missing any of their claws. So they appear to be doing absolutely fine. That's something else you could inquire about, you know?
One of them got super pissed off because he was there and we didn't tell him where we were going.
He went to the
and then he
longhouse.
felt that he was like mean,
So the one guy...
so he had to go back to the walker.
Well, you guys headed back to the long... I now remember that. They headed back to the longhouse with you, and they're waiting outside. So as you head over, you can converse. You have a better memory of that part of the session before last session than I do.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that too.
Well, it was his character, and then I dealt with your characters after that, so I can see why.
Then I guess Narset will
you
look
might want
over
more information before
towards both Sherpas, or she looks at both Sauvax and looks over to Kintera, and then back at the Sauvax, and then in basic, sort of like outwardly ask them.
They understand basic, you know, so you can ask them questions. She'll tell you what their responses are.
Oh, okay, so Narset looks over to the Sauvax and sort of first notices that like their scars are gone and that their wounds are healed, and like sort of like kind of checks them out and then smiles and then asks if they're feeling better, followed by the chief made an offhanded comment blaming the Jedi for the reason why the factory and all the volcanic construction and things are here. Why did Crab Drogo never really mention that? Or why do you all not feel an animosity towards Force wielders as much as this chieftain?
They respond through Kintera by saying, the young Sauvax says that Crab Drogo has never mentioned Jedi. I thank you for helping us yesterday. We always heal fast. The stronger we get as we mature, the faster we heal. The older Sauvax, the one in more traditional garb, says that they have the strength of Sauvax because they've performed the climb, is how Kintera phrases it. And that's why he's been restored fully. She says that Crab Drogo is a good chief and he's climbing in his own way, but that this Sherpa understands his differences with the village, and though he holds to the old way, he thinks Crab Drogo's climb is a worthy one, and that's why he lives over in Crab Town.
So Drogo doesn't feel the same way towards the Jedi that this shaman did, because for whatever reason, the Jedi presence brought
the Offworlders, and Drogo thinks that the next stage of the climb is to join the Offworlders and Galactic Society. And these guys don't agree that that is how the climb should be going. It's a religious schism between the two factions of Sauvax on the planet.
Right, but it was a Jedi presence previously before the rest of the Offworlders.
Yeah, and it was not within your lifetime or even your Jedi Order's lifetime whatsoever. But you are the inheritor of that tradition, Narset Jinn.
Cool. Narset's gonna throw her hood up to try to blend in more, and looks to Kintera, says, well, I think we have as much information as we could potentially have before speaking to the Sherpa. I mean, not the Sherpa, the shaman. Maybe he has a little bit more history of what was going on here. If there was a presence of the Jedi before any other sort of structuralized city, there must have been something more important that we're either missing or that isn't here.
Yeah, what were the Jedi doing here?
Kintera says that the Expat Club has been here for 250 years, and that at that time, the factory and the city had already been established for 50 years. But they didn't have any record of any older off-world colonization of the planet before that. But that this is the most extensive survey. Right, this is the most extensive survey of the area that she has been able to make.
Which means I need that 500 years of history or 1,000 years of history that's missing.
And she's very interested in that, you know. that falls within, the golden age of the Republic that I think is canon for Legends as happening between the Reformation
When
and
Iceball
the
was a
Clone
huge
Wars,
fort,
Right, yeah, it was everything got so
and the
good during
forest
the
fucked
Republic
itself,
that,
and now
the Sith were able to rule of two themselves into Palpatine and blah 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 blah. And then we get into the screen canon kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, none of the stuff before that was established anyway. Now it's during the age of the High Republic. You know what I mean? And when we get to it there, if Kintera goes, oh wow, a High Republic, blah blah blah, just roll with it, you know what I
Right.
mean? And then we can blend with what the new way of calling it is, because new canon supersedes old canon, and there's not enough of the new canon to like erase Legends, and it all kind of fits together. Like, they're not trying to. The stuff that comes out now,
Until there's a
is not-
contradiction, there's room for both, side by side.
yeah, they're not really trying to contradict anything. So,
And if they are, they're doing it by means of adopting that thing and changing it slightly into the canon,
so
Quinlan.
yeah. So
Head
the
towards-
shaman.
Head towards the shaman's hut.
All right. So between you and the shaman's hut are the banks of an icy, frigid inlet that's roaring in and out of this great cave, and on the shores of that inlet are these 2,000-pound, junior Ravnaks that are laying there and frolicking about. They don't necessarily seem like they're aggro, but you're going to have to either make a stealth or a survival check to get
I don't want to fuck with
past them, and also you have to get across or through this frozen, icy inlet and up the other bank before you can get to the shaman. So you've got Ravnaks and water and more Ravnaks between there and here.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
On slide 43. Yeah. So that is the situation. Kintera frowns and says,
However, you're gonna Jedi your way through here. Could you take me along with you, please? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to drive the walker, and I don't want to upset the village.
What do I have? Hold on here, sir.
You could try and force throw her
we
across
do.
the river.
I'm not gonna force throw her.
that would be
What I was gonna
hilarious.
do-
She might be
wanted to see-
delighted by it.
She wanted to see Jedi action up close. Here you go.
As long as she doesn't, as long as Narset doesn't
okay, so
like
what I was
have a bunch of
thinking,
threats, she won't even be
is
upset.
kind of
Or
we
jump
were
yourself
gonna
over there and
Spider-Man.
then
Scoop her up in your
were,
arms
yeah,
and
yeah,
jump
yeah.
yourself
leap
over
over.
there
Like,
and then
We're gonna Spider-Man the situation of just like, all right, hold on tight. Phew,
All right.
is what we're gonna do because I have both force leap as vertical and force leap as horizontal. So.
yeah,
This can
So
only
you
So I
go
guess
a
go
I'll have to make a strength check
you can make a medium
Like,
distance.
holding her.
Right.
and I
So
don't
you're going to
drop
have
her.
to make a coordination check to make this jump. It's going to be
It's
a
fine.
hard coordination check with a setback
I have
because
enhanced.
you're landing
I have my
in
control
difficult terrain.
coordination skill.
Right, so you can add force stuff to this check. The setback from the cold is being offset by your very warm Kelrisian coat.
I was gonna say my coordination is 3 greens and minus a setback.
Do you want to... Well, then you get to ignore the setback. Do you want to spend a destiny point to turn one of your greens into a yellow die? Probably.
do it.
do it.
Okay, I will trust. I'll trust the voices.
If this goes wrong, you could kill Kintera.
into the
Into the river
Into
or
the-
right
into
into
the
the mouth
hippo.
of a rat.
Into the
probably
hippo
kill
beach.
her.
Into the hippo beach.
right into the mouth of a
Okay.
Ravnak.
Yeah, alright, I'm spending a destiny
Well, that
point.
might be
Wait, are they
hilarious.
Ravnak? You said that they were hippo. You said they
They're
were
baby
hippo
Ravnak.
walruses. I thought.
Yeah, they're baby Ravnak. Hippo walrus.
The things
I thought
What is a-
Ravnaks
what
were
is
the
a
thing in
Ravnak?
Force Awakens that had. I thought Ravnaks.
Oh,
were the things
Rathtars. Those
that
are
were-
Those were Rathtars. A Ravnak is
Rathtars, who have the
a Ravnak
tentacles and
is the
the-
thing from the
Oh,
very
God, if
first
they were-
episode of The Mandalorian.
If they were fucking Rathtars just hanging out there.
Landing leg.
No, listen. If you're
Fucking
gonna encounter
tentacles and
tentacly
sharp teeth
goodness,
everywhere.
it's gonna be on a space station full of Japanese schoolgirls. All right.
Oh god.
It's going to be the heavy metal arc in season 2.
Ooh.
This is the thing that grabbed the Razor Crest in the episode.
But
1 of
these are
Mando,
babies,
Organa
so
Sever.
each one is only the size of a sedan.
and like destroyed
Instead
the
of being the size of, a 747, it's the size of a sedan.
Oh,
Are we
But
talking,
there's-
like a Geo Metro or like a Corolla?
They're- Geometric.
Okay,
Small sedan.
okay.
Small sedan.
Okay.
Small sedan. But there's
Okay.
dozens of them. They're lounging out here like it's, walrus.
sunbathing.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get over these
So you
things.
said it was green. So it's 3 greens.
It's 3 greens against 3 purples because you get to ignore the setback, and you spend a destiny point, so your 3 greens become a yellow and 2 greens against 3 purples. That's what the destiny point does for you. It gives you that skill rank that you don't have otherwise. And if
Our
you look
winning
at your
white dice.
force
Do I
power,
throw-
you might be able to add your force dice to the check. Look at enhance. Can you add force dice to your coordination checks with the enhance that you have right now or not?
Enhanced power check. You may use. User may spend either a light side or dark side
Right, to
jump
add
horizontal.
successes. No, but look at the other parts of it. For the
He
when
also
making
has
an
a
athletics,
coordinate.
when making a coordination check on the other side of the left hand part.
Yeah, it just says enhance can be used for coordination.
All right, so you can add your
So would
force
I, so would I
dice to
throw
this
3
check.
W's in there
You add
too?
this. Yes, exactly. You will use one
So
of them to activate force leap, and you can use the when you make your pips. 1 pip will go to activating the force jump, and the rest of the pips can be used for the coordination check because of enhance. Is why I was asking. So you.
Yeah, so
Fuck!
3.
All right. Well, the dark side is still with you, Narset, and you have sufficient dark side to turn your failures into a success because you have 2 failures right now. If you turn your 4 dark sides into successes by flipping a destiny point and taking 4 strain, you can make 4 successes, which will turn you into having a success. You know what I mean? So you can do that
Well,
and
let's
still
do
have
it.
another point to activate the force jump. So you flip another destiny point and take strain as the dark side. So you have to really take the force into your hands. Well, you tell me, Narset. So you've made your force jump check. You've grabbed Kintara or scooped her up or something, and then, with the dark side of the force fueling you, have leapt over
Maybe,
these walruses. Maybe you're pissed off about the whole situation in general, that you were dragged over here on a journey twice as
Fearful.
long it was supposed to come, and now you're to blame for something that happened hundreds of
definitely a
years
fear
before you
thing.
were born.
yeah, fear of
know?
the dropping her into the horde of ravbacks below you or
I was gonna
something.
say it's
Yeah,
definitely
it's pretty
more
high stakes
fear
for
of
the
getting
side,
eaten
yeah.
by hippos.
Yeah.
Eaten by hippos?
No,
Powered
it's
by
more
fear.
just like the physical.
Yeah.
It's the physical exertion of having a second person on me. So it's not like I don't give a shit. Narset doesn't give a shit if she gets eaten
Fair
by
enough.
hippos. If she fucks up, it's not only her getting eaten by hippos; it's another person getting eaten by hippos.
Yeah.
So
Right.
her eyes,
Fearful.
her eyes start to glow. Her eyes start to glow with the surge of energy, and just fucking double jumps it, and somehow
What color?
like
Because your eyes don't have any color naturally. do
silver.
they?
Yeah, they're just kind of like a silver.
So is
sort
it
of
silver?
glare.
It's not green. You're not dathomir.
It's not. No, it's not green.
Okay.
Be too much green.
All right.
Not
And then
Loki.
the bionic woman or man sound effect plays as you over the
and then
snapping tusks of the ravneck and the icy waters of the inlet and the snapping
in a crouching
jaws of
tiger,
Morg.
in a crouching tiger, hidden dragon sort of way, Narset air steps.
Nice.
Awesome.
Off a
Narset air
tusk.
steps and
Awesome.
Water.
in,
Off another
in
tusk.
good wire foo fashion.
Beautiful.
I
Eyes
dig it.
glow
I
dig
silver.
it.
You can use your advantage to gain back one of those 4 strain that you took from the dark side if you want there. You also took 4
Sick.
You had an advantage on the check, and you can use that to recover a strain because you had to take 4 strain by using the dark side. So you might want to do that.
Yeah, so I'm 3 out of 14.
Yes. And you took conflict as well, which will get resolved later. You know what I mean? keeping you right
You
in the
bitch.
middle. I know. It's working out perfectly for you. And
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Yeah. Exactly.
Her cuffs are
Don't get
bone
eaten by
dry.
hippos. Good day.
The shaman are standing.
Plus, I figured
Mouth-
they would have been more pissed off if I made like an ice bridge.
And
Be
like
like, fuck,
messed up the
block
whole.
You don't want to. You
water.
don't want to be showing off your force use
Tide
right
or
now.
flood.
Sure. Before
Yeah,
you
you don't
at
want to
least say
mess up the
hello.
tide. Hold on.
Jump.
We're just gonna
No worries.
stop the plot for a second.